Yes, welcome back to Footy and Friends, brought to you by Carlton Draft. Mick, do you like Carlton Draft?
You went to me first?
Yes.
I do, absolutely. And there, got the jumper on.
Yeah, I got the scarf.
You'll throw the beanie on if
Yeah,
you wouldn't mind. Go on, big fella. Just put it on.
I will. I'll leave it there for a minute. Yeah. I'll put it on. It's just very hot in here under the lights. Hey,
Where's Brett?
Emission.
Yeah.
After last episode,
Yeah.
a lot of
Feedback.
messages about his feedback, not enjoying the call with Matt Lodge.
Yeah.
And
Attitude's a choice.
attitude's a choice, not a right.
Yep.
And he's a bit of a fuckwit at the moment, Brett.
Yeah. So
we're
send him back to the twos, 200
Yeah.
plus. I
Yeah.
think he's on this week.
But we've got a great episode.
Yeah.
And I'm already smiling ear to ear about this. It's one of the absolute great men, as we like to say on this show. It's one
of his throwaway lines,
Yeah.
Tom, if you...
How many times do you use it?
Most eps.
Yeah, I think it's getting to the point if we mention someone and he doesn't say they're a great man, they're an absolute wanker.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it is, you've probably put it together, it's the Tom Hawk. Tom,
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast, mates.
Applause, everyone.
Thank you.
Honour,
Thanks for having
pleasure
me.
and privilege. You obviously been catching up with the pod lately on the drives to Beaufort and whatnot?
No, I was sort of in too nervous a state to listen to too much. But yeah, absolutely. Spent a bit of time in the car, so I'll certainly be listening.
So you spent a bit of time in the car.
Yeah.
What do you listen to out of interest?
Some farming podcasts there, Tom. Are you listening to some agriculture?
Yeah, every now and then, but it's mainly
Dairy?
mainly radio. I was
K-Rock?
often no K-Rock. I'm sort of a bit of an SEN man.
Yeah.
Sometimes 774 probably throws back to my roots back in Finley, and when you'd wake up and it'd be on the radio in the morning
On the wireless, they
on
call
the
it.
wireless,
Up
up in Finley. So probably sort of thrown to my old man there a bit, but. I will listen to some pods from now and then.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Great to have you. Hey, fresh off the Carlton Draft game, which we'll get in 2 seconds, but
Yes.
quickly, you write these notes down because you'll want to join this one. We're doing a giveaway, Tom. You into giveaways?
Love them.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely, I do. What are we giving away?
we are giving away
Depends,
With a bit of
a
juice.
Faffers giveaway here. We are giving away 2 return flights to Launceston, 2 tickets to the Tassie Faff live show, 2 nights accommodation at the Country Club in Tasmania, 2 tickets to the North Melbourne Hawthorn game.
Yep.
That'll be huge.
They've thrown in there, have they?
2 beers with Dyl and Mick and
Hang on a
potentially
sec.
Brett. Mate,
Say it again. 2 beers with.
me and you and potentially Brett.
See,
it's just 2.
I'm
We're
happy
just
to do
doing
it,
2 of everything.
But this type of
Yeah.
stuff, like
and 2 merch
nothing
packs.
comes across the desk in terms of are you okay with this being involved with
Oh, Mick, it's 2 beers.
Yeah.
2 beers?
Nothing happened over 2 beers.
Opportunity of a lifetime.
I'll be
Exactly
there.
right. So that's with our friends at Launceston. So you could be from anywhere in the world and you could come to Launceston.
Everyone
with us.
notice how many times Dill's just said Launceston. So we did a show on Monday, and we did
said Launceston.
and again he was doing the we were doing the review of the rounds that just been, but we had to plug the show, and he was
right.
calling it Launceston.
Launceston, unfortunately. Yeah, well, it is what it
And
is.
clearly got feedback.
They got some feedback, and that's why we love it because they're passionate. And we say on this
do.
show, feedback is a gift.
A gift, and you didn't get omitted because we'd already omitted Brett.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tom, how was the big game up there at the Beaufort Crows? Great bunch of young blokes down there.
Yes.
And some old guys I saw.
Yeah, so some old guys. I wasn't the oldest on the park. One of my teammates, the big ruckman, was 39, so played his fair share of football.
Is that what we called him? Just the big ruckman?
Yeah. It's been a busy start to the week.
Yeah.
A lot of teammates
and there's
out there.
going to
And
be
the big
there's
ruckman
gonna
wasn't
be-
going to feed you inside 50, was he?
No,
You need to know the
I'll
distributors.
tell you what, he put it down the throat of a couple of our other midfielders,
Yeah.
which I won't go into either. But
We should have got a record.
Yeah, we needed to, but it honestly it was really good. So on draft night there was, I don't know if you remember, but there was a couple of the Beaufort kid. There was about 6 of them, and they're studying at uni at Melbourne, and one of the boys, and I call them boys because they're only
Cormac.
19. Yeah,
Cormac?
yeah. Cormac is the captain.
Yes.
And Dempsey. So Dempsey's family grew up in and around the Beaufort area, and he brought all these uni mates back, and they were a lot of fun. I subsequently heard in the warm up that they went out with Will Schofield, who was in fine form draft night till 2 a.m. So on the draft night, but it was a great experience. It was thoroughly enjoyed on my behalf. It was a big. Obviously, a big day of celebration. The town turned out. We got a win. managed to get on the end of a couple. It was a bit slim pickings in the
Early.
first half.
I'm reading that. 0 in the first half. Not that it's all about goals.
No.
In the forward half, but it would be nice to get the scoreboard.
Yeah, it obviously would. It makes it tough when you got one on your back and then two in front. There was the Lizard. Is the full forward at Beaufort Footy Club, and
you got to work with him in his space.
Yeah, obviously. Of course. And the Lizards kicked over 500 goals in the Central Highlands Football League, from what he told me. So I'll take that on as a genuine fact. So full forward, and like me, didn't like leaving the square, but we sort of had to roam up the ground early on. So, but we came storming back in the game and won by sort of 30 odd points. So. A really good end to a great day. So I as I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
A few things for me.
Yeah.
Dyl, like country footy. How many games you play up top? We've got that here. Hang on. 359.
359,
leading games at the Cats, actually.
The 359 games there. Premiership, Rising Star nominee, didn't quite.
No,
3 premierships.
Leading goal kicker 11 times.
Yes.
Gave a fair few off. 5 times All Australian and 3 times Premiership. So well credentialed. So this would have been the first time that you probably got to a game. The warm-up came and you're looking around thinking, where the fuck are we going to start to do a bit of lane work and a couple of ground balls and a bit of hip mobility here? They sent you out to the tennis court.
Yeah, they did. So there wasn't much space purely because of the crowd. So went out to the tennis court for the warm-up, which was, I think sort of what we love about the country footy environment is that they do things slightly different, and it's not the norm to what we do it or have done at AFL level. So, again, it was just a big part of the day, and what sort of made it interesting, unique, and really special.
So I played at Mortlake on the weekend.
Yeah, we
right?
spoke about
we spoke about this on Monday. But the warm-up, the tennis court wasn't available. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe some works or whatnot. So we had to go through a gate, which was locked. So we had to wedge under the gate, under the lock, and go on a nature strip out the front of a local Mortlake resident's house. And she came out because the car was parked at the end, and she's so lovely. She's like, "Oh, boys, I'll move the car for you, give you a bit more room." So she's pulled the car out, given it, and then the boys have actually got, instead of just 10 metres of lane work, we actually got the full 20.
There you go.
On the Mortlake nature strip.
You boys are acting like this is country footy, but I swear I did this at VFL level most weekends down at Preston City Oval. We used to have to jump in someone's front yard.
Well, we actually one year at the SCG when they were redeveloping the change rooms at one end of the ground. We were over sort of, and again, it's not that far when you think about it, but it was sort of 200-300 odd metres away from the stadium in a cricket net out the back. So I think fortunately enough that game we won, but it's a long haul out and back. But it's a long way from the fields of AFL level. But
the song, do you get wrap your melon around the song? Did you make sure you faced? Did they have it on the wall?
So they bought it. They took it off the wall. They obviously don't get the opportunity to sing it that often.
Yes.
Only the second time for the year, so it's sort of a portable board that travels with the team just in case. I'm sure they leave it behind at some matches, but it was. I can't even remember how the song went, but
so
it was
not
a
the
bit
Crow song.
No,
it's a bit of a. Okay.
It's a bit sort of unique. Haven't heard it. Doesn't
bootleg.
Yeah, a bootleg type approach. So
might be the North Melbourne song.
We sung it a couple of times.
The North Warrnambool. They sang it a couple of songs.
Yeah, so out on the oval.
Out on the oval.
Did you walk off arm in arm? Like they do
we had a couple of formalities post, and body started to seize up. Went back in and sung it inside. So
second time round.
Second time wasn't as good, but it was, you get in the change rooms, and it's sort of a bit like the room we're in today. You get a few bodies in here, and it heats up, and we enjoyed a couple of Carlton Drafts as well. So it was really good fun.
Speaking of Carlton Drafts, we've actually got a couple here. You might have had too many on the weekend, but me and Mick are going to tap into a couple of these if you don't mind. Yeah, just one. Do you want one, Tom, just for a prop?
I'll have one.
Well, he'll have one.
Say no.
He wouldn't say no. He wouldn't say no to the Gold's Nectar. But before we move on, a big thank you to Carlton Draft as well. Absolutely massive initiative, and can't wait for the next game. I think it's Brettles heading up to Collingwood.
Yeah. Any advice for those to follow? You'd be happy. You've got the.
Yeah.
We weren't talking off air. Like there is some genuine nerves.
100%.
Going back and playing at that level, because the expectation. as we said.
Mick, don't forget I did this last year.
I
You're
know,
talking to me like
and
you're
you
trying
had
to tell me.
16 and 1 point.
Mate, you
Which,
said
again,
It's
not
okay.
bad.
Did you
Not
win?
bad.
Did you
No.
win?
No,
Oh,
we
sorry, you
lost.
didn't win. Yeah, okay.
But you do get relatively nervous. About trying to put on a little bit of a show.
Yes.
But probably more so keeping the body fit and able, and not doing a Kane Corns or Joe Montagna injured or 6 touches and no impact.
Yeah. Absolutely. I didn't really have that much anxiety about performance. To be fair, I played up in Finley, and it was 4 goals up there, but I saw the impact that actually winning the game had. So, to be honest, I know it's a bit of a cop-out and a throwaway, but the game means more to the community than it actually does to me as the individual. And if you can help them win, you genuinely see the impact that you can have by attending and celebrating the game. But the thing I was most nervous about was, as you alluded to, the injury. And as I left I left home, had the bags packed. My wife and kids didn't make the trip, but Emma's parting comment was, if you get injured, don't come home.
Yeah, right.
So you can stay in Beaufort and play the year out. So that sort of made me the most nervous for heading overseas in a couple of weeks, and I didn't want to be hobbling around the streets of London in a moon boot or knee brace. So that's what got me most nervous. But I suppose deep down there's probably some performance anxiety as well.
Yeah.
No, you've been there, you've done it, mate. We're fantastic. And good luck to those. We'll get them all through, and thanks to the Carlton Draft. Great initiative, he said. Now, Tom Hawk.
Yeah.
I like to bring up sometimes, we'll get into the show. We're just going everywhere today. We've got the Tom
That's
Hawk, it's a
fine.
special ep. But do you know what my first memory of you is?
No, you'll have to tell me.
I
Share
will.
with.
I will. It's actually a young man I used to watch the footy show.
Oh, yeah.
And my first memory ever is when you came onto the footy show as like a 17-year-old. You must have been in like high school. You came on, you were wearing this like big T-shirt. It was quite a cropped sort of fit just above the belt. And you were talking about like going to Geelong. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the vision. It's absolutely amazing. Like it was
It'll be there somewhere. I don't have it, but I'm sure you'd be able to source it. But I was wearing a tight pair of jeans and probably similar shape to what I'm in now. I let myself go at the back end of my Year 12 schooling year, but I went along with a mate of mine, a great mate, Xavier Ellis, who's friends of the show, no doubt. But he got some tickets because he'd been drafted to Hawthorn, and we went with a couple of boarding school mates. And funnily enough, on a Thursday night, we'd actually popped down to Arcadia, which is on the corner of Punt and Toorak, which we used to frequent from time to time, and we had a couple of Carlton Drafts before we went into the show, and it just so happened to be that Shane Crawford was a panellist that night, who's a Finley guy, and picked me out, but he invited me sort of up on stage, and I was wearing sort of the tight jeans, the Air Force.
it was a cool kit.
Yeah,
it was back of the time.
Yeah,
I was admiring it.
Yeah, well, it was one that I strategically chose, but not knowing I'd be pulled up, and I wore this shirt that sort of, you're right, it was like
cropped.
It was cropped,
And it had like a circle, and then you had like a belt, like maybe it was almost like a fluoro belt.
No, it was a bit sort of look at me,
full
wasn't
on.
it?
Yeah,
But it was. I still got vivid memories of that, and certainly my time at school. It was great fun, but that was probably my first introduction to the media world, which I don't know if I handled it that well looking back, but who does as the 18-year-olds come in and pretty impressive now.
Now, I know Brett doesn't like doing this, so he's not here today. So we might actually ring Zave, and if it rings out, if it rings out, it rings out. But we'll ask for his version of events.
You remember Zave?
How long have you got here?
Oh, he does.
I'll give him the brief that it's.
He does like to take over a little bit.
Tight.
Hello, please leave a message and I'll...
That does not even sound like him.
Got to work on his voice.
Yeah, he'll call back.
If he calls back. But,
what's your favourite X story from back in the day? Has he always been as flamboyant as he is now, or has he tapered off as the years have gone on?
Yeah, he's certainly skinnier back there.
There's two memories of Xavier Ellis, right? Or two. It's either incredibly skinny, or incredibly the other one.
But he is. I saw him
Strata?
last week when I was over in Perth, and he's really looking fit and healthy. Keeps popping the calf, but he's going well. But look, Zave is a great storyteller. I think that's my favourite memory of him. My first week with Xavier in the boarding house, he vividly remembers my mum unpacking my bag as I lay back on the desk, which I don't remember. So he's sort of thinking, what's he got himself into here? The unpacking the bag. I bedrolled him, which was a thing where you went, we sort of just. I always thought it was not so much an initiation, but it was something of the type. But you'd go and flip the mattress and sort of run out and piss off.
So you same age?
Yeah,
he was just in the first 3 months.
Yeah, and I knew he's a really good footballer, gun recruit. So I flipped him early days, first week, and
alpha move.
Of course,
it's the boring school thing, the bed flip.
Until he sort of. Squealed in pain, telling me from under the mattress that he dislocated his hip, and just had me absolutely shitting myself that this new recruit had come in. He'd been here a week. I dislocated his hip, and only to sent me down to the nurse. Had to bring the nurse up at midnight, only to find him smiling once he'd roll back over. So there's many that I could talk about. Zay, we could be here all night.
I can imagine. Again, we had Mitch, a mutual friend of ours, on the pod last week, 301 gamer now. He's done amazing things. And I shot him a quick message before. I said, obviously, Tom Hawkins got some great stories. What would you ask him about? And he said the Mad Monday early days story. Have you got one that stands out that he's talking about?
Was it just over message, you and Mitch?
Yeah, just message, yeah. There's no
there's
context.
One,
there's
context. One that stands out. I mean, there's a few that stand out, but certainly, one in particular in my first year. Which, I think sometimes these sorts of things are best kept in house, but
or on pods,
or on pods. But it was fair to say. It got the better of me really early, to the point where I sort of went home with no clothes. So, anyway, that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But, there's certainly that was a bit of the immaturity of an 18-year-old, playing at his boyhood club and being around people he'd idolised, and it just got the better of me. But I've certainly had some great Mad Mondays where we've celebrated long and hard off the back of premierships, and but there's always some pretty good stories.
You're the one club at the moment. Nearly all clubs are barred from dressing up, but Geelong have done it so well their own way for a long time with their wacky Wednesday stuff. It's become a staple of the club, and I don't think it's going anywhere quickly.
Yes.
Give us your top 3 across the journey, not your own outfits, but and if you don't mention it, the Matthew Scarlett,
Kevin
Bartlett was red hot.
Yeah, he also did the dermy where he bleached his hair or went the golden sort of locks, shaved the sides. Which is sort of a bit of an on-point haircut at the moment. Sort of the Josh, is it Josh Weddle? Yeah.
No, Josh
Weedle.
Weedle. Okay. Yeah. Got that wrong?
No, it's Weddle.
It's they're sort of the look like, even wearing the 23, but Scarlo would walk around with his chest out, and he obviously clearly enjoyed himself that year. But he was one of the best.
Hannibal Lecter he did as well.
Got a bit physical too, Scarlo at the back end of the night, which was always good. We used to like that. And Corey Enright was another. I think he was. Is it Hannibal Lecter where he got wheeled in?
He wheeled in Scarlett.
Yeah. So. Tom Lonigan lost his teeth, two front teeth to an elbow from Harry Taylor one year in season, and just got some fillers put in, but then he took them out, wore a Collingwood sort of Joffa cheer squad wig, a Collingwood jumper. Like it was pretty plain and basic. You know those guys that aren't good at dressing up, but they just do one or two things, and it's all time. Yeah. So I remember that. Joel Selwood as Mick Fanning, and the Shark. Look, there's been lots. And I think it's well celebrated because.
Sorry to jump in really quick. We've got Zave on. Zave, how are you, son?
I'm well.
Now, got to jump straight to it. Got Tom Hawk here on the pod, not live, it's a podcast. And he's mentioned...
How are you, X? It's Dyl, mate.
There's Dyl.
Oh, gentlemen, how are we?
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah, that's quick one. We want to jump straight off the bat.
Big dope. You got him on.
We got. Can you take us back to his first day at school, boarding school, when he's rocked up? He's got the luggage, and he's. I assume he's getting himself ready to put his clothes away. But someone stepped in for him.
Oh, no. So my first day at boarding school, I was assigned a 6'6" kid I'd never heard of, but everyone I went past wished me all the best, so I thought he might have been an arsehole. But anyway, I got up to the bedroom and I was frightened to open the door, and all I could see were these big giant legs hanging off the end of a bed. And as I wandered in tentatively and frightened, all I could hear was Tom's beautiful mum Jen going, "Oh, darling boy, do you want your jocks in the top
Hit the nail on the head there, Zave. That's exactly how I recollected it.
And then straight away, he reckons he went in and flipped your bed with you on it.
Then he flipped the bed, put me through a wall, dislocated a hip, then he cried, then we became mates.
It's verbatim. It's happening.
How are you anyway, mate? It's great to have you on.
When are you in WA? I thought you were ringing to go to the OVH for a few beers.
No, we're locking that in next Friday, you and I.
Right.
Responsibly, of course. Thanks to our friends at Carlton Draft. That'll be good. So, anything else you want for... Tom's gone awfully quiet and pale here just whilst we've got you on. He's a little bit nervous.
No, let him shine. I've got to go. I'm on school pickup duty. I've got to run.
See you, mate. Good on you. Appreciate that.
See you guys.
Moving on to those guys coming in early career, who you look at them, you know they're your mates and teammates, but you talk about Scarlett and Paul Chapman's one of our favourite on this show. Very, we say he's very full blood. He's very full blooded.
Yep.
He's very thick and erect type guy. He's just hard.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And Josh Hunt is similarly,
he was quite hard.
Similarly
too.
hard.
But Paul seems like he was full of a lot of blood, everywhere. How was Paul as a teammate, as a guy?
Paul, he certainly had an erect run. But the thing I loved about Chappie was how competitive he was.
Yeah.
He was... in my first year of pre-season, I was under the indication that if you're teammates, you get along, and you might have a verbal stoush on game day, but that's about it. Yeah. The first month or two, I can't remember, but it was early in the pre-season. I saw him get in a fight with Steve Johnson, where fists were thrown, and it had to be broken up by teammates, and they were a bit off each other when we went and lifted weights in the afternoon, and then they went their separate ways. And then I found out that they live next door to each other. So my introduction to Chappie was this real hard ass that just was a competitor and wanted to win, and sort of did everything he could and had an amazing self-belief. I still remember early when I'd take a mark from an angle that was say 50-50. Chappie would be there as quick as anyone. Those guys that just come sniffing, calling around the back and be like, Hawk, give me the ball, and then you didn't give it to him and he'd give you this look it was unforgettable.
And I love this man.
I know, and he but you couldn't help but love to play with him. Just he had so much confidence and belief in what he could do, and more often than not he could execute. So he's again one of the great players that I had the privilege of playing with, and a real character.
Who this? It's hard to narrow this down, but I have an obsession with niche teammates and people I've met through footy days. That's basically all we talk about. We actually called a mate of mine, Matt Lodge, last episode. Brett didn't like it too much, but he was a New South Wales scholarship player. He didn't actually play any games.
Where particularly from New South Wales was he from?
I think he was up near Byron Bay somewhere. Near Byron Bay. But long story short, most young players, their dream is to debut in the senior team of AFL. His dream was to just debut in the VFL because he was playing thirds at the time. So it just shows where he was at. But just one of the all-time blokes, loved playing with him. Now, I'm sure there wasn't many blokes like that at Geelong. But who's some obscure teammates that we may have heard of that you just stick out in your memory looking back on your career going, geez, that was a great man. One of the great men.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Matt, was it? Matt Lodge.
Matt Lodge.
Who came in and sort of was playing thirds and wanted to debut in the VFL. And I just got Mark Blitzar's vibes. Now, I know Blitz has gone on to have an incredible career playing, sort of still currently playing, and he's probably, I know Mitch from, when I do listen to your podcast is obviously cousin of yours and
weekly.
a good friend of the
top 3
friend of the show. But Blitz was, by his own admission, like a horrendous footballer to the point where, like in the VFL, they couldn't pick him in the grand final, maybe in 2012 when Geelong played. So that's how far back he's come from. So obviously he's a house and old name. So that doesn't answer your question.
And then debuted the next year, right?
And then
haven't missed.
Has not looked back and has become. He's a 2-time best and fairest winner at Geelong. And I dare say when Chris Scott finished his coaching career at Geelong, and hopefully that's as far as he goes, but. He's probably going to have Mark Blitzar's up there as one of the most reliable players, I would dare say. Wow. So, incredible career. But getting back to your question, we got drafted with a kid named Liam Bedford, Indigenous boy from WA. His old man's nickname was Dingo. So then we adopted that to Liam. A bit of a character, really quiet kid, but really came out of his shell late, didn't quite reach the heights of AFL level. But maybe the fact that he was a draft mate of mine that I've always remembered and reminisced on the stories of Dingo Bedford, because he had one of the all-time great weeks post VFL and AFL grand final wins back in 2007.
One for you, Tim House, who you would have played with. Well, not played with because he never. I don't think he ever debuted. But there's a bit of despite not playing the 359 games that you played, Tim House in Tom Hawkins, right? Because he's a country lad from WA, very
Tom's in
country.
Tim's house.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very good.
And came to Werribee in 2019 when I'd finished at the Gold Coast Suns and went to Werribee. And Tim House had come from Geelong. He'd spent, I think he was only there for a year maybe or 2 years on the rookie list.
Yeah, I reckon it was 2 years.
And just your vintage kind of rural operator. And there was a night when the lads were going out, and so straight from the game, we're going out, so he needed some pants. So someone's given him some jeans, and he was a joggers and jeans guy all the way through. Yeah. And I'm watching him in the joggers and jeans, and his I reckon John Deere hat or whatever. He said, "Well, mate, do you want my shoes? Because I'm not going out. I'll just take your runners and give them to you on Tuesday."
Yeah, you're doing some extra touch.
And I'm just wearing. I was doing professional recovery. I felt like I had a nice pair of flats on that Tim would appreciate. He looked at me, pointed, laughed. He goes, "Mate, no way I'm wearing them." And he just strolls out the door in his Asics runners and tight jeans and his John Deere hat into the night.
That sounds like Tim. You've from the way that you walked in and the feedback you got from your runners today, it sounds like the
it hasn't changed.
The footwear apparel is a constant. But Timmy House, great teammate. I suppose I got drawn into Tim and had a good relationship with him because of the fact that he's a country rural kid that would go back in the off season and get on the header and
harvest,
work in the sheep yards, and sort of from a big family operation over there in Western Australia, which he's moved back to sort of, I think, help take over or wherever it lands. But we had a mutual friend. That where Tim lived while he was at Geelong. So he lived out of town, so west of Geelong, so sort of further west than we live on a farm. And I often go around there and hang out and have a beer and swim in the dam or the river or whatever it might be at any point in time. But he was a real relaxed, laid back operator. But Tim got really close. There was a game. Actually, we debuted a couple of players, Sam Simpson and Zach Guthrie, one of my favourite teammates, in GWS. I can't remember what year.
2017, round 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's our that's Link, by the way.
He
does that.
Do you remember the end result?
It was a draw.
Yeah. Do you remember who missed the last kick? After
You.
Yeah,
Probably
honest to God.
Probably fine.
We nearly
you kick a
exhausted.
point- you
I
kick a
kicked
point
it
to draw?
to lose. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To tie the game. So
Yeah.
The 32-minute mark and 29 seconds.
there you go.
That must have been the game Mumford ran in through Mitch.
No, different. Yeah,
No,
that was
different
up
game.
in Canberra.
Different game.
I heard Tim House and I got excited because he played at Claremont a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, that was his junior club.
Yeah.
Sorry, his WA base.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Tim was really close to debuting. Flew up morning of the game. We sort of just one of those ones where every
Scotty was-
man.
Scotty was thinking
no
about late
offense to
changes.
Tim, it wasn't like it was the last
No,
possible
yeah, of
option,
course.
but we had a couple of keys go down.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the last option. Mate, he's a great man, Tim House. Great
You know
man.
what?
Fox Footy aren't talking about Tim House.
No.
So that's what we. That's,
Jordan Lewis and Nick Rewell aren't.
they wouldn't know shit.
dissecting
They
this
don't
on
know
the
shit
couch.
from play. Those blokes. They just have
The
absolutely
margins,
no
though,
idea.
if he had got an opportunity, you just never know with career trajectories.
While
So,
we're on
one of the
just
great men.
Geelong people as well, great men as well. My former teammate from Tura last year, Jack Weston.
Yes.
Geelong boy.
Yeah, he
as
was.
well. Yeah. Absolute great man.
Yeah.
Like, no joke, one of the absolute best. Big listener.
Still
too,
coaching?
So. He's been turning it on, coach, captain, everything up there. He's killing it. At
Yeah,
Tura
Jack was
Magpies.
only on a list. I reckon we're going to have to
Yeah, was
maybe
it
double
2011?
check. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was
would've
2011
I would have
for a year.
said 9 or 10. but-
Drafted 2009.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm right.
There you go.
amazing.
Should we call Jack Weston and ask for his favourite Tomahawk story?
Come and think of fast.
You can. I mean, I think if you got his number.
We do, mate. I have to speak to him quite regularly.
I only wore number 43
Great number.
from memory.
You didn't wear it with as much distinction as Ashton Hams did, though.
That's true. Ashton Hams did very well.
Who is the best?
43?
Oh,
Yeah.
So
You must
well,
have
we
missed-
did
you
do
must have
the-
missed the pod.
You
No,
might have
No,
missed this episode.
it'll be on cue. I'll listen on the way
We
home.
ranked the top 5
Yeah,
best numbers of 21.
Yeah.
Brett being 3 and me
Yeah.
being 43.
Run through your 43s again.
43, I think, at the start. The 5th link, remind me.
Was yourself.
No, I was second.
Oh,
I was second. So I think from the top it was Kutafides,
Yeah.
myself.
You. So two Carlton
then
grades.
Dean Rioli,
Yep.
McDonald, Tip and Woody.
Yeah, and fifth.
Ashton Hams from West Coast. Do you remember Ashton?
Yeah.
Did you play much against
Nuggety
him?
left footer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. Very
39
clean.
games at the top level.
39 games. I played
And
41.
made everyone count.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And second on that list.
I
with
was
those
second, yeah,
names,
just in terms of not just playing, but what you've brought to the game as well, on and off the field. Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Weston
well,
wore
that makes sense.
37 as well.
Oh, 37.
Yeah.
There you go. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. What's your favourite, like, memory looking back, like, most random thing? What are you missing at the moment? Anything? You missing, like, is it playing? Is it just being in the rooms? Is it in the showers with the boys?
Yeah, I took for granted the fact that you're physically paid to go in there and exercise. I found that a bit of a challenge 6 months out. The thing I miss is clearly, you know, when you win and off the back, like the preparation. So the 24 hours leading into a game, the game, and then the post, probably 48. Because, you know, Geelong, you're sort of not
You
sided.
don't go
for-
back until captain's run,
Yeah,
do you?
pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Get the text message if you're in the squad, and in you go.
And sometimes not even that, you just turn up. But I do miss the spa. That's the one thing. And, you know, specifically like about now, you get to the midpoint of the season, there's a few sore bodies, and it's pre-training. Which often means that you sort of you chat and you get stuck, and time goes by and you're late to a meeting. So there'd always be Jezza, Reece Stanley, Brad Close, who, you know, Brad's sort of partway through his career, but he's a 26 or 7-year-old living in a 50-year-old's body. So and great man too, Brad. But,
Never seen his arms because they're always covered by the
yeah,
sleeves.
yeah.
He's a
well,
great man.
I'd love to get a hold of his actual birth certificate, but
He's got quite an unorthodox golf swing as well, doesn't he? It's a bit ugly.
I don't want to comment on his golf.
Is he taking quite seriously?
Big close golf. He's doing
he's
great.
good man, but
He's
he is-
unorthodox.
He's a great man?
unorthodox.
Yeah, he's a great man,
Great
Brad.
man.
Yeah,
Great
he's he's really and good fun. And I mean, I bring those three guys up because they're probably the consistent. And I reckon I miss that.
The Spa.
Yeah, Mitch had float in every now and then. Danger. No, look, there was, and you get a guest appearance from so Cam Guthrie every now and then.
And you'd have your solidified spot in the Spa. You, Jezza,
you'd sort of float around. You'd get on your back.
Yeah,
Did
you guys ever do hold your breath contests in the Spa?
No.
Okay, that's all right.
No.
I used to enjoy.
No, I think that sort of does some sort of that'd. If
Yeah,
you did
I
some
don't-
sort of study into that, I reckon it would.
Link actually had that question on the run sheet. and I
wouldn't be good for
because
you.
Link does that with his brother at home in the
yeah.
bath,
Yeah.
and I was just wondering for him. So Link,
no,
there you go,
no,
mate. It's
don't-
not,
don't do that.
It's not good for you to
no,
do that
no.
because
So-
we didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Link's got a good one here as well. We've obviously 3 flags.
Yeah.
It's like that's
4,
good.
1 in the VFL.
Sorry, 4 flags. Do you count the 2009 NAB Cup
Oh,
grand final?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, clearly not. I do sort of the forgotten one a bit, but
you just trying
I
to
don't know if
rack
it
your
was-
brain to remember any
yeah,
aspect of the
like,
game.
Who
Who'd
did
you play?
St Kilda
Link?
under roof.
Who'd you play?
Essendon.
Find out.
Come on, Link.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I don't. But
Beat Collingwood.
oh, did we? There you go. At Marvel, or then
Yeah.
Eddie had
I mean, Colonial back then, maybe.
Colonial. No,
so.
I reckon.
Sorry for bringing it up. You didn't kick any.
That's all right. I reckon.
Is
I
it-
reckon I was sub. Only bought on late.
Yeah.
What's
Mickey
your
Mouse- Mickey
fave,
Mouse Club.
Granny? If you can, I know it's hard to pick out of the 3.
Yeah.
But do you have a favourite? Because 2011, yeah, that
Yeah.
was. I still remember to this day, sort of like a big
coming of
moment.
age game?
It was almost a born on the big stage type
Yeah,
of day.
Pods Adley out.
Yeah, what'd you have for breakfast that morning?
Yeah.
Were you just were you feeling it a bit?
No, I can't recall that far back. But I look at that. Look, they all play a really important piece in my career when I look back, and I tongue in cheek mentioned the VFL one because it was the first I'd played 9 or 10 games in the AFL team that year, from round 2 onwards, and then didn't get a look in, so just got a bit tired and ran out of steam. But was lucky enough to play in the VFL one, and and love watching the AFL the following week and being a part of it from the sidelines. It was never a chance to play, but winning the grand final in the VFL, it was really significant because it actually it gave me a taste as a player for what success looks like, because I'd never played in a grand final, never won one. Finley, small country town. We were competitive in the juniors, but finals, making a final was your grand final.
Yeah.
So that was my first exposure to the sort of the big time, the big pressured moments of playing grand final. So that played a part. And then 9 was my first opportunity to play for Geelong, and in a absolutely brutal game against St Kilda, who was probably the best. I think they were the best side that year. They beat us early in the year in a game back at Eddie had, where we were both undefeated.
Oh,
It was
both
like
undefeated.
one of the
Gardner
all-time.
took them out.
Gardner took the big one, yeah.
Knocked out Harry Taylor in the process, and that was unbelievable. So I got a taste then and fell apart, but couldn't cement my spot for the next couple of years. And then during that period of Mark Thompson as coach from 7 to 10 when I got there, I always talked about players playing well in the big moments and the big stage and preparing yourself like that, through the year, and then to be able to play my role in the first half and then a significant role in the second half, really in a way did sort of kickstart my career, gave me confidence at AFL level.
Yeah.
So
If you can do it there, you can do it anywhere, really.
well, yeah,
at
I mean,
Beaufort.
we think not even quite a Beaufort.
It's a different game.
But and then 2022 was really special because of what we sort of had to go. Poor me, but we'd missed a few times in 2020 in the COVID year and playing a lot of prelims. And
Did you know that game, Joel? Sorry, to jump in, but
No.
Joel was going to be. It's like no one knew from
Really?
the team.
Wow.
No.
No. And I look back and maybe you can see the writing was on the wall. taking Levi Ablett out, getting Sam Morford over the fence.
Yeah.
Just the work he did in the lead up, gave his AFL playing boots to the Oz Kicker of the Year, Archie. There was a few things that I look back and think, and the emotion he showed after that goal. But there was an embrace that Joel and I had after the game, and I think that captures what it actually meant to the two of us, having missed for so long and then to get the opportunity to. So, because I always thought, like, in my first few years, I've walked into a club and all of a sudden
you're going to win them.
Yeah, and it's like 07, Grant won a grand final, 08, lost a grand final. And Geelong were probably the best side that year, but Hawthorn too good on the day. 09, grand final, 10 prelim, 11 grand final. So it's like, I'm thinking first 5 years of AFL footy, I've played a handful of games, won 2 flags, and like everyone's like they're hard to win.
Yeah.
So they all play a special part.
So good. Link, while we're chatting, can you get up the 2009 Geelong VFL Premiership? 2007. 2007 Geelong VFL Premiership. Would love to go back and see some of your teammates playing for both teams, because they'd all be...
Someone played... Stephen King played both?
Yes. Yep.
Certain players played...
Yep.
Who injured themselves? Was it Blake?
Mark Blake got dropped.
Yeah.
For the 07.
Thanks for bringing that up, man.
Yeah, sorry.
And he
is a listener.
Yeah.
Is he really?
One of the great men, though.
He is a great man, because he did actually... No, he did really...
I played for Trang Mortlake on the weekend, actually. Trent West, former Cat.
Yeah.
Trent West, yes.
Yeah.
Westy.
Yeah.
Trang Mortlake,
And Nathan Vardy is the coach of North Warrnambool, so there's a
Nathan
strong
Vardy
Geelong
played for Geelong
connection
as well.
He did in West Coast, premiership player.
Yes, he...
War number...
For West Coast?
19?
Yeah, fuck, I should know
I only
that.
know that because he wears 19.
He had a bit of everything in him,
36.
Vardy. Could have been...
Yeah, injured.
Like,
He had
injuries.
Had some hip injuries
Yeah.
and maybe some feet. But again, one of the, without feeling like I'm repeating.
Yeah.
myself,
Don't want to
put words in your
one
mouth.
of the great men.
Yeah, he actually picked me up one day at Preston City Oval, like that. Picked me up. I said, "I'm sorry, Nathan." Like, he was that strong. Yeah. So we sort of haven't really spoke
mountain.
since.
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago.
He'll be on.
Link, you got it
Get him
up?
on.
Yeah, I've got the players who were named in the best in that team.
Give us the best. Who was in the best?
Well,
I'll
you
guess.
don't have to go.
No, we
Shannon
should.
Burns, did he?
No, we've spoken about this, mate. Sometimes the best is corrupt because they don't want those players to get picked up.
Who was the best player on the ground?
Goss
Lonergan.
was
Tom Lonergan.
One of the great men from Assumption College.
six goals all in the second half.
Yeah.
He's playing forward.
Lonergan, Playfair, Gardner, Byrne, King, Thompson, Davenport.
That is a
Is that
list.
Juice Davenport?
Yeah.
You know Juice? Did he play there as well? He's up at the Giants
Jace,
now.
yeah,
Big Juice.
he was a 06 draftee.
Big Juice. He's in pristine
Yeah,
condition.
pristine.
Yeah,
Does he do weights with the lads, you reckon?
He's with Adam Kingsley up there at the Giants
Yeah.
doing the bicep curls and eats very cleanly.
Clearly.
yeah,
No, he's,
looking
and
good.
one, he's a great fella. He is a great fella, Jace.
Great man.
Scott Thompson, North went on to play
Adelaide?
maybe 200 games. No, for North.
Oh,
Melbourne.
did he play for Geelong?
Yeah,
he
played in
got
that
drafted.
flag.
I've never liked him. Just like as in,
He broke my jaw once.
like I think when he was doing that stuff with Barry Hall, I was like, get off Barry.
Yeah.
No, I will go into bat for him because
Please
he's
do.
a lovely person.
Yeah.
Off field, but we're sort of.
Not a great. He didn't say great man. He did not say
Oh,
that.
well,
it's tricky.
no, you're lead. I try and. I don't have an extended vocab like you, so I can't keep going back
Fair
to
call.
it. but
I'd like to clear the air with Nathan if he's keen to come on. We can have a chat about it. Absolutely.
Did you just call him Nathan?
yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Nathan
Scott.
Thompson.
Nathan Thompson was also a kangaroo.
He was a kangaroo. And
you-
Scott Thompson.
Yes.
Apologies. Fucking hell, that was bad by me. Sorry.
It's once a week, though.
Sorry, Scott.
Once a week.
Oh, goodness gracious. Shall we get into some games?
Yeah, and
Western Bulldogs versus Hawthorn at Marvel. Let's just go through some tips, but I'll give you a bit of a stat quickly. The Dogs have scored over 50% of their scores from clearance change, the highest proportion ever recorded after 11 matches. So they like to
flick it out
they
and
like
chain
to
it
flick
through
the hands,
and
him
then
and
get it into the big fellas.
bloody what's his Liberatore and
Liberatore, yep,
Ed
that's it.
Richards.
Yeah, he's in some form, Ed Richards.
They're
Yeah.
playing well. Now, players that have played for both teams. Do you like this game?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay.
On the spot, I'm not as
Lucky there's a couple
sharp.
down
There's a
in
couple
front of you.
there for you.
The dot
Taylor
points if
Duray.
you were.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's a couple there.
It's a run sheet, Tom.
It is. I'll go off at Brian Lake.
Oh, yeah,
we
and
haven't-
Brian Harris.
Yeah, so that's two.
Well, they're the same person. But,
Oh, are they? Who knows?
Is Billy Gowers a half point?
Oh, because his dad's a president of.
Yeah.
Is that
Hawthorn.
true?
Yeah, his dad's a pres. That's actually.
Lockie
nice.
Bramble, Fergus Green, Taylor Duray.
You would have played a bit on Fergus Green. He would have played on you a little bit.
Now, Fergus Green was actually a forward.
He was a small forward.
No, he's like a hybrid.
But I will have to know because I'm on that game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you looking forward to that one? Well, actually, let's throw it over to you to really give us the deep dive into how this one's going to get won.
Hawks are.
No, they're a bit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tom, will Mitch have them wound up?
He's tried, mate. The last 3 weeks he's been on
I've heard
end.
wound up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they bought the mouth guards and.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to the mouth guards. I,
No.
I, don't, I think that's a bit old school. But
Scotty wouldn't have been Geelong and mouth
Hawks.
guards.
Geelong and Hawks hate each other.
Yeah, they
man.
do. So
They hate
dogs,
each other. Dogs, it is.
dogs.
Oh.
No, I like the dogs at the moment. I'm going to tip the dogs, Link.
Yep.
Put that one down.
Yep, same.
Dogs for you.
Yeah, I'll
Jeez, he
take
hates
dogs.
them. He still
Hates
hates
them,
it.
yeah.
Old
The
Dan, I would have a
curse,
tie
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It's like you hate Stuart Dew because he
No,
does.
I don't.
He
don't.
actually doesn't like Stewie Dew.
No.
It's obvious. I'm going to go the dogs as well. And
Actually, Geelong Gold, that was my last ever game, actually. We're going to get to that soon.
just on the Hawks Bulldogs, just sorry. Do we see Hawks firing up a little bit? Like, have they made any big selection calls? Like, obviously,
Side's on out.
Sicily's
out
for 2
for a couple
weeks.
of weeks.
Yeah.
Which I actually think
Might help them.
Well, I don't know. They've got 3 key defenders down there. They sort of play Battle and Sicily play a little bit the same. Clearly, Sis has been under some
Duress.
Yeah, I think looks like he's carried maybe this for a period of time. But it's always hard when 2 new players, one let alone 2, come in that play similar roles. So I think we kind of underestimate the fact that takes some time. So doggies, they're off a break. They're 14 days since last played. So does that? If it was Geelong, I'd be a little bit more concerned because they've never been so good off the bye. But I'd have to look into the Dogs' record.
Did I make the call last week? And despite saying we'll whip through it, we spent 15 minutes on this game. Who did I say last week would make some selection statements? Was it Hawthorn?
You said Hawthorn and Swans. Swans, they dropped Ollie Florent.
Yeah, they'll need 2 this week.
The sides will come out in about now because we're doing this Wednesday night. It's like, watch your space in terms of selection of the Hawks, I reckon. Mm-hmm.
I was surprised they dropped
they did it with
Cameron McKenzie. I was like, mate, that's a
they
cop
did it
out.
with.
Drop
Remember they
someone
did it
else.
with Ginnivan earlier in the year. And Ginnivan, to his credit, has been their best performed forward
Since.
for particularly the last couple of weeks, but probably the last month.
Yep, agree. Adelaide Brisbane at Adelaide Oval.
Jared Lyons.
Jared Lyons. We have Ben Keys.
Yeah,
we like to call him Ben Cleans.
Yeah, Ben
and
Keys.
Tom Doday I had as well. Doday.
Oh yeah,
Doday.
yeah. Who wouldn't be far
Charlie
from
Cameron.
being back. Yeah.
Charlie Cameron as well.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Sorry, I get excited. Sorry, I get very
Cam Ellis
excited.
Yeoman.
Cam Ellis Yeoman.
Is
I think Doday's playing in the VFL at the moment, so he's working his way in.
Yeah, I reckon.
Is it Doday?
Doday.
Doday, sorry.
I reckon he's banked a few too, so he mightn't be far away.
Let's see how he goes because Dizzy Gardner's down there playing a good role, but
he's getting
Clunking.
Yeah, they're
He's
getting
clunking.
it
He's
done.
going
Yeah,
forward.
and possession is 9/10 of the law. If you're in, come get me spot.
reminds me of a former teammate actually of Tom's.
Shane Kirsten.
No, he was at Fremantle. I thought he went.
But he
West
was at
Coast.
Geelong as well.
The other one that played got the hair done and went to North.
Oh, Josh Walker.
Josh Walker.
Yes.
Do you remember him, Tom?
I do.
And
do,
what point are you fucking making?
Just thought of him. That was just a player that I've thought of. Just haven't thought of him in a while.
This is where we go to. And
Good memories of Josh.
it's very good game. Friday night slot's an interesting one for this one. 2 kind of sides, which I don't
They're
mind.
good sides.
Top
Yeah, they're
4.
good sides.
We top 4.
But usually they give the Friday nights to these big Melbourne clubs. So I love it from the AFL here. They're going
bloody
former premiers
Mate.
of
AFL or
they've made some
VFL.
changes. haven't
Adelaide,
they?
and away they go. And Tom, are you on this game?
No.
Just doing the
So you
Thursday
just
night.
Thursdays.
Thursday and usually I'm a Saturday or Sunday, but I've picked up a Thursday and I've got the Cats Suns down at the Cattery
Which
on Saturday.
who will be on the boundary for that one?
Oh,
you
we
reckon?
like to discuss this.
Who's on the boundary tomorrow night?
Do you rate Lynchy on the boundary?
You wouldn't have done many with Lynch.
I haven't done any with Lynchy.
Yeah. Moons, you
Try
would
and
have
keep it that
done.
way.
You've done a lot with
Yeah,
Moons.
I've done Moons.
Yeah.
I think we've got Moons tomorrow night and potentially,
Moons
dare I
again?
say it again, Moons
Yeah.
on
Still in the double.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, Moons would do the Geelong game.
Yeah.
And
He must be cheap, Moons.
What's the idea of careful what you say.
Sorry, I know.
Former teammate.
He's an angry.
Yeah.
No, I actually love it.
Why is it brought up about the boundary rider? Because if I end up in the boundary rider,
No, how
do you know I'm not?
No,
I would tell you.
I would tell you, and you would tell me, and I'd be honest with you about it because I just think that there's a few gifted games being given out over the past 15 years, and I'm just not like Lynchy's struggling to get many words out at the moment.
Yeah, so
and it's
if I end up on the
frustrating
boundary in the second half of the year, like consistently,
You know what that would mean?
Nothing wrong with that. Boundary's good.
Which
you've
is
got to do it well. Like Ruby Slasher, great.
You're a great performer, Tom. So you're
actually,
not going to end on the
Ruby's in
boundary.
Geelong. Ruby's in Geelong on Saturday.
But it is very much a position like Lynchy. No one's coming to get that role on the
That's
boundary.
what I'm saying. There's nothing coming through grassroots there in Queensland. No one's coming through.
Geelong right now.
Daniel Rich could get him in there.
I reckon Lynchy's still he's holding on to that for a while until
Dane Zorko.
Zorko, I reckon, will go straight to the box. He'll go straight into the special comments.
Yeah.
And potentially hold on for a while. But if he doesn't perform, Lynchy's in trouble.
There you go.
Sort of the key forward mafia, so a little bit surrounded by.
They might get Sam Day.
You're counting him out.
Pav is in the box. Pav's good. Who's on the boundary in Perth all the time?
Schofield.
Schofield.
There you go. Scully, yeah, boy.
Yeah, when he's not at bloody wherever he went on the Wednesday night after the draft.
I'm going to go. This is a really good game, actually. I'm going to. Oh, Jesus. Got quite a tip. I'm going to go.
I'm Adelaide.
They tied in Adelaide last year.
Adelaide for me.
I'm going to go Adelaide as well.
I'll go Brisbane.
So is Tom's tips Brett's?
I reckon we do that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, you won't like that, Brett, unless you win. Saturday,
Dill,
Richmond.
he's not fucking listening.
No, who knows? Richmond versus Swannies at the MCG. Danger game here.
Well,
I reckon for the Swans. I reckon Tigers nearly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't watch the game last
Yeah.
week, but from what the scoreboard suggested, they were ordinary.
that BWS, that is crazy. Richmond were plus 24 in contested possessions in the first quarter against GWS.
Yeah, wow.
Their best quarter on record. So they just got busy. And then it wore them down a little bit. So young side, 3/4 on the Callum Wood.
Yeah.
It's amazing they actually had the audio of that, which was pretty cool for a pretty shit situation.
Yeah.
Darren Gasper, Toby Nankervis, two players that have played for both. Mitch Morton.
Oh, yeah.
Played for both. That guy, Stuart Maxfield, played for both.
Stu, yeah.
Do you know Stuart Maxfield, Dill?
Left footer.
I do, actually. Number 8, I think he was.
So here's a fun fact for you about Stuart Maxfield.
Oh, he's the runner. He runs for the
he
Swans.
doesn't anymore.
yeah.
Brett
Used
Kirk
to.
does that.
Yeah, you're all over it, though.
Yeah.
You are all over
He's
this.
all over the key things, right? Who's on the boundary? Who's the runner?
Also, just on, before I forget.
But I was just about to tell a story about Stuart Maxfield. Just before I forget.
Go for it.
So
I'll
he
just write his
is
name down
credited,
so I don't
the
forget.
Bloods culture? That is credited with Stuart Maxfield in his time at Sydney. When he was coming towards the end of his career, he kind of got that trademark and the values and what they stand for entrenched, which right now is under a little bit of siege, isn't it, with how they're playing?
I would say that. Is he still involved? Do you know?
Not sure.
You know what's interesting with the Swans? They have a very, who knows if, I'm assuming they're good. Like Dean Cox, they've got their Leon Cameron there as well. So two, very senior coaches. And Leon Cameron played for Richmond. Now he's coaching the Swans.
Is that what you were going to say?
Football at the Swans.
Is that what you were going to say before
That's what
you
I was going to say
forget?
before.
Yep, nice.
Yeah.
Bang.
Corruption?
Well done.
There is a little bit of corruption there, maybe. Who knows?
I am going to tip.
no, there's more. There's more players. The bloke that played for, his name was...
both of the sides.
Played for both the teams. He was number 22.
Stafford.
He didn't play many games.
22 for who?
22 for the Tigers. It was around the same time. The reason I'm thinking of this person is when I was down the rooms for, we go down the rooms at Geelong.
Oh, yeah.
Me and you.
You let me in.
Yeah. There was a guy down there by the name of Sam Lloyd.
Yes.
Do you know Sam Lloyd? Played for the
Danny boy.
Tigers.
Yeah, I do know Sam.
Around that, there was their name Nathan
Broad.
Broad. That was Nathan Broad. 22 for Richmond. Or 26. Are you looking it up?
You've lost me
anyway,
big
we'll
time.
come back to it later.
Greg Stafford,
He
I
played
reckon,
for-
played
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
Greg
the
Stafford
Swans.
did, and now he's the guy that walks the dogs at VFL games and gives. Remember he walked.
Was he the one who dropped Brody Grundy
and
at
went out
Casey
the oval at
with his
Casey with the dog to
Yeah.
give him some ruck advice?
Don't know about that.
Yeah.
Geelong versus the Gold
Sydney
Coast.
for me.
Holy fuck, you're right. Nathan Gordon.
Nathan Gordon.
Yeah.
That's actually very well done, Dyl.
Here's a fun fact about Nathan Gordon.
Is that Sam Lloyd's mate? Yeah.
Yeah, see? And plays footy, not sure if he still does, played in a premiership with Clayton Hinkley. Nathan at Birchip
Muesli.
the Birchip Bulls.
There you go.
Should we give him a call?
I don't know. I actually don't know him. It'd be weird that we're even talking about him, but I hope you're well.
Sydney.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Richmond.
I'll go Sydney.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
I reckon they bounce.
Geelong versus Gold Coast at GMHBA. Absolutely beautiful stadium there, and I'm envious that just a great place. You did well.
Skinny wing, no wings.
Yeah. How do you play it?
Yeah,
How do you play
you
it?
lead to the pocket. That's all Tom used to do.
What'd you do?
It helps when you've got good ball users.
Mitch.
But look, it's it is clearly like a fair. I was actually with Jared Healy the other day. We're looking at dimensions of the ground, and it's I don't know if we can get them up, but like significantly, like it's like 20 or 25
So
metres.
every time we
skinnier.
played Geelong,
Yeah.
Here we go.
we actually went pretty well, Dockers down
No,
there, but
yeah.
we would
Won a big final.
You'd skin the.
Would you
skin
go on
the
your
oval.
own oval?
Yeah, you'd cone it in.
Kind of in.
And then Ross would say,
yeah.
"Don't fucking kick down the full." All right, if you didn't Lee Spur first one, bang out.
Yeah, very easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that.
Well, the Giants play well there. They train it.
Yeah. The Gold Coast don't, because the BWS stat is Gold Coast have never won a round. Hang on. They don't play round 13 very well. Gold Coast have never won a round 13 match, currently 0-9. But I wouldn't imagine the Gold Coast have done well at GMHBA.
They lost off the top of my head. Geelong beat Melbourne by 186 in 2011. A couple of weeks. It might have been the next week. They beat Gold Coast by 150 at the same ground.
Wow.
My last ever game, we lost by 102 points.
You had 35 touches
Gold
though.
Coast, yeah, I knew it was going out, so I thought I'm going to pick it up and kick a few out in the full.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Wow, that's a nice game.
Let me talk to you about these names before we finish. So Zach Smith,
Yeah. Dunny Brush, great guy.
was he? That's a great. You know who he looks like? Have you ever seen Hey Arnold?
Oh, yeah.
He looks like the guy from
yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Yep.
Gary Ablett, remember him? Junior.
So Zach Smith and Gary Ablett, great mates, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep. So's the next one on the list.
Nathan
as
Ablett,
well. Yep.
also a brother of.
Yeah.
Charlie Constable, sorry mate, you probably don't get a story today, but I was just thinking with...
Well, hang on, what do you got about anything about Charlie?
nothing wrong with Charlie, but I just wanted to really talk about Gary and Nathan.
Go for it. Nathan, the famous story about Nathan won.
Which one?
Yeah, there was a famous story at Gold Coast. He was playing in the reserves, and they were playing a game at Broadbeach or something. And they had a pool out the back, like a public pool. And they were out there warming up, the twos, the NEFL game.
pool?
Might have been the Quaffle game, but the lads are warming up and they're like, go out to your positions type stuff. And the forwards are looking around, we've only got 5 down here. Fuck's Nate. And apparently someone had to go find him out the back of the pool, just limbering, mobilising the lower back.
Yeah.
As the horn was going.
Absolutely amazing.
That is Nathan Ablett to a T.
What was he like?
Oh, he was he was heart of gold.
Yeah.
Beautiful person. Like he's sort of a gentle, sort of free spirit. He's sort of. I think, a lot was talked about how he didn't like the spotlight and not so much the pressure, but he just wasn't something that he loved playing footy. And he was certainly a different cat. He just had a different way of operating, which we love because there's plenty of stories. Didn't come out at half time. One game down at Geelong. Was watching. So half time went back out. He was on the bench at that stage, so he wasn't on the ground, but was sort of one shot on the bench. Whereas Nath, someone runs inside. He's on the couch in the players' lounge eating grapes, watching the start of the third quarter.
AFL game.
AFL game, and you can source that. Just little things
I
like
love grapes, but that's crazy.
Legs
the
crossed?
coffee urn. No, on the poof. Legs
on the
straight
poof.
out on the poof.
Boots on.
Boots on.
That's
Put your boots on the poof for Nath.
What was
Yeah,
that? The
just-
coffee. What was that?
Like the coffee urn. He wanted to boil and make some pumpkin soup. So like, filled it up with water, put the pumpkin in, and then sort of forgot about it. Came into the footy club the next day. Everyone sort of went to make their sort of instant coffees back in 2007, and it's just coming out.
Just
like
pumpkin soup.
boiled pumpkin sort of soup type setup.
It is. That is one of the...
Just had a different way of
Good on him.
operating. Yeah.
Good on him. That's fantastic.
But again,
great man.
one of the great people.
Yeah.
No, we love that. And shout out if he is
yeah,
listening.
I know.
I'm
Yeah,
not
he
sure
won't.
if he is.
Unashamedly won't be listening.
Gold Coast would need to bounce back, but I will. I'm going to tip the Cats. They're going too well. Yeah, they're too good.
Cats are good.
They've got like a cheat mode at the
Yeah,
moment.
they were slow in the first 3 quarters.
He's hard on
No,
him.
they
Yeah, he's
were
hard on him
over
because
in
he
the
loves
West. Actually, there's a fair bit of reliance on the two of them in the midfield, particularly Holmes and Smith.
Yeah.
Tommy Atkins does a power
Love
of work.
Tom
We probably
Atkins.
shouldn't discredit what
I
he
love
does.
Brian
in there.
Myers and Sean Manor as well.
High forward's doing a great job.
Yeah, very important. Brad Close.
And Brad
Yeah,
Close, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, the strange swing.
You know what? I'm going to change the tip to Gold Coast on this factor. I think the Gold Coast mids will get a hold of them this week. There you go.
There you go.
Gold Coast mids and ground position at that ground.
I think
Important.
it'll be a very, very close game.
They're wearing the pink as well, Gold Coast, which is really...
They'd have a pretty good. I think they got a good record in the pink.
Yeah, well, the pick against
Well, they've
the
only won it
Kangas earlier in
once,
the year.
and it was
they won,
Kangas,
and
which
we
is
were-
a great, tough
but
opponent.
they were down by 3 goals going into 3/4 time, and they ended up
did
winning
they
by
win?
10
Yeah,
goals.
so they've won.
Oh, they only won by 10 goals.
So they've never lost.
Could be quite, yeah.
Why
Gold
couldn't
Coast,
that have
mate.
been the BWS stat?
Yeah, put that one in there. Hey, it'd be remiss of me not to just ask a quick favourite Gary Abletts story. Have you got one off the top of your tongue? Or Dom? Like,
I mean, there's more Nathan.
yeah.
No, I don't know. Like it has to be on field.
Yeah.
And some of his
What's your
performances.
craziest thing you've ever seen him do? That like there might be the public ones of the the Scarlet Toe poked him in the grand final or the possession games for Gold Coast. But is there anything that just stands out to you, going like, oh wow, that was crazy?
Yeah, maybe like early days when he was a young, up-and-coming, talented player, but was then able to transition. Like it felt like it was like that. You know, it takes players a while to flick the switch, but he was just able to do it and play at like an incredibly high level for a long, long period of time. And I always marvelled at what he could do on field. He had those big moments. The Topo stuff was one of my favourite goals was the one down in Geelong against Brisbane. Yeah. In down the river end. Like he could just do things that not many people can do. There's a group of us that play. There's a par 3 golf course in Geelong called Ballyang. There's a few of us past players that get together every now and then, just whenever it suits, and we go down and play par 3. Now, I'm a keen golfer and would consider myself, a reasonable, pretty good golfer.
I've seen you swing; it's quite nice. I saw it on
Is
B
it-
Close YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't play that well that day. But it's and Steve Johnson plays, pretty good golfer, plays like he played footy. Shannon Burns, not bad, like a little bit, gets a bit nervous under pressure.
Yeah.
He won't mind me saying.
He's a bit like that, Burnsy.
Gaz Jr., Gaz Senior, Kent Kingsley, and Gary Jr. is just like he doesn't bring his own clubs. He just hires them from behind the. Actually,
Annoys me already. Yeah,
Don't know if
he wouldn't be
pays.
paying.
And like they're like op shop basically. And he picks the same ones every time. They're specially marked. And he just comes in and wins every time. Like the talent that he has
So cool.
and competitiveness is unrivaled. But, he's probably the best player I've played with.
Yeah, a good friend of the show, Ed Lower, tagged him once and was pretty happy. Kept him at 14 and two goals, 14 possessions, 2 goals. That was for the first quarter. And then was taken on.
That's a great story, Mick.
That is
All right, we're
huge.
gonna press.
You
forward.
like that one? Who are you tipping?
I'm going to go with Geelong.
Yep.
Geelong. Yeah, I like Geelong.
Can't go past my Cats either.
Sunday, North Melbourne versus West Coast at Hands Oval. So the famous Hands Oval, is that
That's in Bunbury.
Bunbury, Mick?
Heading to Bustleton, and then to Bunbury on Friday. Because we play West Coast Sunday and then Freo the next week. So obviously catch up with Xavier Ellis for the week in WA. So
And Mick, you know
Okay.
WA well from living there, frequenting.
live there. So I'll show a few of them around. But Hands Oval, I have never been to. So
No,
here we go. We
me
played
neither.
there in the pre-season, but that was when Eddie was getting born, so I skipped that one.
Here's a good one. Take this one to Clarko,
Yeah, we'll
the
do.
bit of a stat. With a loss,
No, I don't like
North
don't like
Melbourne
that
will
start.
notch up their 100th loss this decade.
Yep.
That's awesome. At 5 years and 158 days, this will be the quickest team to get to 100 losses in a decade in history. Congratulations.
Well, hang on. We're not there yet. and hopefully we're not there by
That's a
Sunday
win.
either.
That's a win.
Why am I mentioned here in the dot points as to playing for
no.
both?
You said you played for the Eagles last week.
North
Yeah.
Cornwall,
56
correct.
disposals
And
for
coach of the Kangas, yep.
Yeah. Drew Petrie.
Drew Petrie, Declan Mountford.
Yes, Declan Mountford. Actually dating Nina Kennedy, gold
vaulter.
medal pole vaulter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lives
Had her
with
on the
Luke
podcast.
Morfessa's son,
Oh, yeah, Charlie.
Charlie.
Nina
Yeah.
Kennedy, she's just come back from a bit of a surgery as well. We're hoping she...
Tom has no clue what we're talking about right here.
Yes, that's okay.
What are you made of these two sides this year, Tom? Done any of their games?
I did West Coast over in Gather Round.
Yeah.
When they played Carlton. Oh, look, they showed glimpses. And that's probably, it's probably fair to say of North Melbourne as well, but the importance they place, they've obviously got some young talent. North Melbourne's clearly probably got more, arguably, but the importance of the senior players, I just look I look right across the competition and think we write our older players off too much.
Yeah.
I get it, they get old and slow, but they're so valuable. I look at what Steel Sidebottom's doing at Collingwood, and not having someone like Jeremy McGovern as a general down back hurts the Eagles.
They lose like Tom Barras, who he's got. So I reckon the Eagles would have gone into this season knowing where they were going, and Barras out. No worries, but all right, we've still got Jeremy McGovern, but obviously touch wood for him to get some good news. But but what it has done, I clearly watched them pretty closely on Sunday against the Eagles. Really good against Cats. Really good for 3 quarters. And some of their defenders now have just been thrown into the deep end. Very good. Oscar Allen had a good game ahead of the ball, but Reid, Williams, those type of players.
Jindy was good on
Jimmy
Jez
on
until
Yeah.
So how shit's that? You can go
minutes.
good on Jez and he still kicks like 4 or 5. It's just,
Well, he's kicked 5, and I saw he got 1 coach's vote, Jimby, for
keeping
manning
him
Jazz,
5.
keeping him 5.
Good on
Yeah.
him.
Kangas, old tip.
I'm going to go with West Coast.
You're an abs. What are you doing?
Just because
for the
I
100
think
thing?
after just for the 100 losses, so you guys can celebrate that. But I think that West Coast were impressive against the Cats, and I think that builds a bit of momentum. They get 2 home games in a row because you guys sold them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll give Brett North at home.
Yes,
So-
thank you, because I'm tipping at the moment.
At home? Yeah, it's the home game in Bunbury.
We won't go into this game, but we did forget the Giants Port. So just a quick tip.
Giants, Port.
Giants. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Giants.
And also Dean Brogan, Chad Corns, Mark Williams.
Mark Choco Williams.
Mark Williams coached both.
Kingsley? Adam Kingsley?
Adam Kingsley.
Yeah, it was a bit played and coaches.
Yeah.
So a bit happening there.
Last 2 more games to go. We're going to get Tom Hawkins home. He's got to feed the cows.
Cows
right.
first or kids get fed first out of the farm?
Well, kids, yeah. Nah,
Kids.
the work will be done by the time I get home.
Yeah, which
Out
will
on the
be
farm.
which is always
Out on the
often
farm.
met with a fair bit of optimism from the partner when I get home and the work's done.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you?
No.
Yeah, 3. It's probably bedtime if I can get home for that. That'll be helpful.
That'll
Yeah.
be difficult. And you and Brett might have to catch up on the call because he's got 3 as well.
Kids,
3
yeah.
kids. Just ask him. Carlton Essendon MCG, big game. no
Sunday
matter if
night?
Yeah, Sunday night.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying the Sunday night games. It was a good one last week.
Yeah.
Carlton and Essendon are the only 2 teams without a premiership player on their list. Wow. Interesting.
Amazing.
There you go. There's a lot of players
Tom's
that play
got
for
3.
both. Yeah, could have shared one. Scott Cambrelli, Andrew Phillips, Adam Sard, Ben Mackay,
Will
Will
Setterfield.
Ben
Ben
Mackay.
Mackay's meant to be Harry Mackay. It was a joke.
Harry
I think.
Mackay. Good work.
Yeah, that was a gag because they are brothers and they
Yeah,
played for both teams.
Harry. The Ben
Justin
and Harry
Murphy.
podcast.
Tom liked it.
Is that still ahead of us on the charts?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, of course.
Justin Murphy, who also played for the Cats. Were you there when Justin was there?
No, I'm
No.
not that old.
No.
Thanks, Mick.
Will
You there with Riccardi? Paul Riccardi? You remember Riccardi?
Yeah, no,
Just missed him.
not Paul. Peter. I played with Peter.
Peter, fuck.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
is there a Paul?
No, sorry, I didn't
There's-
even play with Peter.
but there's no
I missed
Paul.
him by a year. No,
Peter,
no.
I still remember. I was in Yarrawonga. Must have been Easter holidays. We used to have a caravan up there, and I still remember Peter Riccardi kicking the
Cats v Blue.
tort to beat the Blues. He kicked the big tort.
Drop punt. Might have got touched on the way.
Yeah,
and-
definitely. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it was a tort.
Dangerous game here. If don't love when clubs become under pressure, but if Carlton don't get the result here, I think they'll
Yeah,
become
they're
under a
fucked,
bit of
mate.
pressure.
I reckon Essendon will win that.
It's not got too many injuries. Carlton have to find a way to win this. I'm going to tip Carlton.
Is Ben Mackay out still?
Oh, because he won't play on his...
They've only ever played each other once.
Oh, that's so
So,
true.
Tom, Mac here is our Carlton expert. What do you
It's actually
think
my
of the
first
match?
time on the mic this episode.
Yeah, go for it then. Don't fuck it
sorry,
up.
Max.
Nah, don't care. It's done with Carlton.
Oh, that's great insight.
Where will you be watching it?
I'll be at the pub.
How's the date? How's the date?
No, I got a
It's
good
the
question
races
before we...
weekend in Swanhill, the big racing carnival on the Sunday, so
Heading up?
will not be watching much of the footy.
Yeah.
Great.
You'll be on the Nags.
Just quickly, how long would
Mac.
you give...
I'll be on the...
Sorry, these guys are talking about Swan Hill races. How long would you give Charlie and Harry to get the combo together? Do you think that it's about time at how like from someone who's worked with?
I think
You think they've got it?
proven.
Okay.
I think they've proven it. Certainly
can
at
work.
times. They've had a bit of an interrupted year with Harry missing some time, but I think they complement each other really well. They haven't consistently moved the ball. You're always a bit of a
there's a lot of
product
stuff.
of what happens up the field, but I don't
They
know. I
don't
think-
have a great anyone that's actually kicking the ball inside 50 that
Yeah.
well. Like you think,
Well,
yeah.
Well, they're really inefficient taking the ball inside forward 50
Hmm.
and have been for the year. But, maybe it's still a watch this space with those two, but clearly both very talented. And the beauty of them is that one can play deep and then the other can also, they can switch. It's not like one's suited to one spot necessarily.
A
Which
little bit like you and the Lizard at Beaufort on the weekend.
Who's your favourite?
Maybe you and Lizard should sit them down.
yeah, we could. Yeah, we could. Lizard would be open for that, I'm sure.
Lizard's very busy. Who's your favourites forward in the comp at the moment? Like key forward. Who do you like watching the young ones? Like obviously there's like Darcy and
outside of Jez. Oh, yeah,
Jez.
Sam Darcy. I know everyone's, but I was even a little bit worried before he got injured that the weeks before, we were piling too much pressure onto him. But the kid was just performing time and again. So
He's back next week, apparently.
yeah, it's crazy.
that I couldn't believe the consistency that I was seeing from such a young player. Who else do I like across competition? Yeah, obviously Jez. I do love watching Jesse Hogan.
Yeah.
I've watched him live now a couple of times. I know he's not young, but just the way he moves and the fact that he's just become ultra reliable in front of goal just goes to show how much work he's put in. So I love watching Jesse Hogan.
Love that. Last game of the round. It is a massive game for Fight MND, the big freeze game. So sending love to the Danahers, and again, what an amazing job that they've done raising a lot of funds for MND, which is just
Remarkable how much
absolutely
they've done,
remarkable.
isn't
Yeah, remarkable. So I can't wait to get involved and love that weekend. Get your beanies at wherever you can, online and at
One of the
Woolies
supermarkets.
or Coles.
Should know that. Coles.
Go to both and work it out.
Yeah. Aren't they at Bunnings too?
And Bunnings,
Yeah.
and Bunnings, and
You'd
support your farmers.
You'd frequent Bunnings a bit, I imagine.
Tom and I go to Bunnings a bit
what?
together.
Yeah, we
the
do.
sausages.
Yeah.
Yes. For one thing and one thing only. I'm not handy.
Nah.
One thing I'm very good at is
Sausages.
consuming. So not like Shane Mumford, but
No.
BWS stat here. Melbourne have won just once from their past 10 games against the Pies at the MCG, which a lot of these games would have been King's
That was
birthday.
2023, King's birthday, they won.
Yeah. Petrarca, this is the game last year where Petrarca
Yes.
went down, so hopefully that doesn't.
I was actually with Petrarca this morning. We were doing cooking, and he was saying that's been 12 months since his injury.
What were you cooking?
how's he going?
He's going well. We cooked steak tacos. Fantastic.
nice?
They were absolutely delicious. I'll send you guys a recipe.
Was he
It's
saying
really
who's going to
nice.
win the
Please
game
do.
to help my tip?
Yeah, he
Collingwood are
thinks-
going to win. They're really good, Collingwood, at the moment.
Come again, Mick?
Collingwood
Collingwood are
I
very
haven't tipped them for a while. And they've won me over.
Link's
After a lot
brother's
of-
actually Ed Allen, Rising Star nominee.
Really?
Looks a bit like Chris Mayne, the guy from Fremantle.
And we're the same number, 16.
Yeah.
I look like James Peatling.
He has been very impressive, and they should get it done. Again, I don't know. I remember they've clearly turned a corner. They went great last week up at Alice, but
No.
I do give him a chance.
How good's Cozzy Pickett? Oh.
Well, he got shut out by We talked about
Who'd
this
they
on
play
Monday.
again? It was Bodie Usland.
Number 2.
Bodie
Usland. Bodie Usland.
Bodie Usland.
Winhager.
Winhager, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
And
Gold
he had,
Coast.
heaps of the footy too, yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell,
I'm
cut
going
that,
to tip
cut
Collingwood this
I'm not
one.
cutting that.
There you go. And I just think, yeah, Collingwood.
that. Jeremy
Yeah.
Howe.
Jimmy Howe, Lyndon Dunn.
Got to be more.
There's got to be more.
Yeah, there would be more.
I've got Shane Woden.
yeah.
There's got to be more.
There would be a Ruckman. You know, like Ruckman always
Darren
goes-
Jolly.
Darren Jolly didn't play
he
Melbourne.
Played for Melbourne.
Did he?
Played for Melbourne.
Oh, Chris Dorsey?
Dorsey.
No, Dorsey?
Well, I know Dorsey, but I don't know
Brody
Dorsey.
Grundy.
Fuck,
Brody Grundy. Jeez, yeah,
there you go.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you, Mick.
Who's in charge of this run sheet?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good to just think on that off the dome.
It's more to
Yeah,
get the
true,
it's more to get
sorry.
the creative juices flowing, Tom.
Yeah, we only get a couple there to just keep going. It's too easy otherwise.
that's
Hey, Tommy, we've been absolutely ravenous with your time, and we cannot thank you enough for coming on the pod, mate. It's probably been my most favourite. Shut up, mate. It's probably my most favourite episode of the year.
Most favourite.
Most favourite, and it's good
running out of words.
I don't know if it was good having you on or just good to just get a night away from Brett.
Yeah.
But we've absolutely loved it, mate. So we really can't thank you enough.
Pleasure, thank you. I'll certainly be listening. Yeah,
On the way back.
listening to this. Yeah,
And did you enjoy the experience?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed. I didn't actually think I was going to be able to get to sit down so comfortably and enjoy Carlton Draft. I knew obviously apart from Brett would enjoy the company.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be able to have a beer while I was doing it.
Will you just last one on the Carlton Draft game? I know you
he's gotta
played
go,
Finley
mate.
earlier in the year. Yeah. Carlton Draft. Carlton Draft. Finley, Beaufort. Will you play another game at Finley this year? No.
Nah, I've retired.
You retired?
Yeah, I was-
Retired?
Yeah,
She's
Unless
over.
there's a package deal, sorry. We could go somewhere.
Richmond Centrals.
Richmond Central's in the
AFC.
6. Yeah. The Snakes.
I'm not coming.
I actually fielded a call on the way here
Oh,
about.
wow. You got to always answer the. You
Feel
can't
it a
say
call.
no.
Can't leave us with a deep tease like that. What league?
Oh no, Finley.
Oh, they-
Oh,
yeah,
Finley,
yeah.
yes,
Just is there one? Is there a chance? And it's the footy birds have been handed in, and I think that might be it for this year.
Go on, you, Tom. Thank you. That's
You
all
wanna do
I've
the
got.
out? Footy and
that's all I've
Friends
got.
brought to you by Carlton Draft?
Footy and Friends brought to you by Carlton Draft. Thank you so much. We absolutely loved having Tom Hawk in. Send in your questions and whatnot. And literally, just to wrap up before we go, we have a thing here, Tom, called the Faffers, which is like our Patreon. It's the members that we come in. They for bonus content behind the scenes.
Yep.
And what they get for that is they get a medallion. So it's a Footy and Friends medallion on the back. It's got their joining number.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say a big congratulations because we just started getting out. So we've got 130 members in a week. They will. Jared Withers got number 3.
Well done.
So
wow.
I'm number 1, you're number 2, by the way, because I've started the show. You came on second and then Jared Withers 3 because that's a number.
Bet 4.
Tyler Bennett got 21.
Yep. Well done,
Shan
Tyler.
got 26. I thought I'd add that in just because
Yeah.
we got the Tomahawk today.
yeah.
So say Shan.
Yeah,
G'day.
well done, Shan.
Yeah.
G'day.
43 was Tanner Santon. That's my boy. 103, so each 100 it goes up. Luke Evans. 121, Clinton Betham. 126, Jaden Daly. So again, Tom. So
Yeah, well done, Jaden.
and 143, we don't have
He's
yet.
giving
So-
Brett vibes.
Let's go. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it. Love